You know, I started building this place 15 or 16 years ago, and I just would do a little bit. Every time I got some royalties in, I'd do a little bit. We started off with the big room. I just used it for practice, and when we got some more royalties, I finished off the drum room, and we created that into a temporary control room where the piano is. It's only been in the last couple years that I've finished out this room. We originally built the whole shell of the building in long term, thinking, well, I'm going to finish this all out someday, but it only took me 15 years. But I don't like to do anything fast. I've done Bloom and the last one here. I call it Saucer Studios, because that's my next plan. I spent 15 years building it. The last bit that I haven't done yet is to put an engine on it and fly off into space. That won't take too long. Everything that took 15 years, I figure that won't take over a month. I'm working with AMD, and we're using Nuendo and Euphonics, and I'm really happy with it. Nuendo has this thing called 32-bit float, which to my ears, the top end's a little sweeter, a little more open and airy. Reminds me a little bit more of analog tape. Especially when you listen to the music really loud, the cymbals and the top end energy, to me personally, it isn't quite as grating on the ears. It's a little sweeter and more airy. So I'm enjoying the Nuendo stuff. About halfway in the project, we got into this analog console stuff, which is Tone Lux. It's made by Paul Wolf, who used to run API. Basically what it is a updated, upgraded version of the old API stuff. So it's kind of the best in both worlds in that it's got the sonic integrity of an old API or Neve, but you have the benefit of new features as well as reliability, and it's designed in a really ingenious modular way where it's all rack mountable. You literally can get this in just racks, and that's what a lot of people do. They'll get the mic pre's or the EQs and they'll just have them in racks, and they'll carry them around and use them for live work or studio work or whatever. And I just kind of built different modular racks, and we've put together a whole console out of that. But it's great because you can change anything around, update it, add channels, and it's really, providing you have the shell of your frame of your console, you can do it in a matter of, a couple hours, and so it's very malleable. Andy Johns did a lot of the mixing. Richard Mullen, who I've worked with for years, did a lot of work on the record actually, and I'm working with a new gentleman named Kelly Donnelly. He mixed some of the stuff. I actually ended up using some of my mixes, which is kind of crazy. I mixed the last tune on the record, Your Book, that I wrote for my dad, which is interesting because the mix, it was kind of cool, but it had all sorts of problems because I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but the mastering engineer Jim Wilson fixed it, so he made me sound like I know more what I'm doing than I really do. People that know what they're doing, they can get it good all the time, but anybody can, have a stroke of luck and get something. I can kind of get the balance of the guitars and stuff, but getting an overall mix takes a talent. I did some analog mixes of the new record on the MCI, but we ended up not using them. But I would like to get back into doing some analog recording. Actually, we had a little trouble finding tape. We did find some tape and did a few sessions that way, but mostly it was just mixing. We did the analog mixing and analog recording as well as on the console, but it all went to a digital format. Yeah, so this is my little tech room up here. We had a little extra area, so we built this little room. And this is where people come to work on my amplifiers, and sometimes I do a little bit of work on my amps as well as my guitars. So yeah, it's a pretty modest little setup, but we do have like frequency analyzers and generators and stuff. And then yeah, I just sit up here and do my experimentation. I'm always trying to see if I can improve the sound on my guitars or amps and stuff. So we do little change out. I've got this little cabinet right here where I've got all sorts of parts and stuff where I can, all the different caps and resistors and stuff. So kind of, just a lot of times it's other guys coming in or somebody that's working in the studio doing, control room stuff. They'll come up here if they need to fix a piece of gear or something. But Sometimes late at night I'm up here trying to see if I can reinvent the electric guitar, but I haven't quite done that yet, but sometimes it gets better.